everybody. Welcome to Pokemon Talk, where I basically talk about Pokemon things, like what I think about some Pokemon or Pokemon characters. And here I have my free 10 out of 10 team, Sylvia the Sylveon, and Ember the Tepig, and Muddy the Mudkip. So they'll be with me throughout the video. So it's just going to be me talking about Pokemon, what I love about Pokemon, and maybe some of my favourite characters, and maybe even my favourite Pokemon, or even my favourite legendaries. And what are your favourites? And feel free to let me know all of your favourite things about Pokemon. So let's get started. So the first topic I'm going to be talking about in Pokemon is the Pokemon characters. Basically like all the human characters. I'm going to be talking about all my favourite characters and characters that I like and characters that I've actually grown to appreciate through like different Pokemon media, whether it be like the games or the anime or Pokemon Masters. Like I really enjoy watching Pokemon Masters, and it is really fun. I honestly enjoy like all the characters just being on the island of Paseo and just interacting with each other and having adventures together. Honestly, and I honestly really love that. But I'm going to be talking about the anime characters first, and my favourite travelling group, the Unova companions. Basically, Ash, Iris, Silent, and N. I know N wasn't in it for very long, but I'm going to include him because he did technically travel with them. They are my favourite companion group. I really loved Silent in the anime. I liked Iris as well, and I liked like his she is a bit rough around the edges at times, but I feel like I do actually enjoy her because she is very unique, a very unique character, and I love her design as well. And I love how she can sometimes be like energetic and a very correctful with Ash, like always like saying all of his mistakes. So like pointing out all of his mistakes. And I just enjoy like how she loves dragons and how she's like sort of like trying to like work out what she is as a trainer as well. Like lots of people don't like Iris because they think that she doesn't use enough dragon types, or that she's very obnoxious, but I like her a lot because I like how she corrects Ash, but she also learns from her own mistakes as well. So it shows that she isn't supposed to be perfect, and she does like learn from her mistakes, and she does become like a really better trainer to her Dragonite. Like trying to bond with her Dragonite that's really a bit rough around the edges, and she's trying to connect with him. I liked that, and I like how she's always with her Axew, and I like how she can. And she's actually the first Pokemon female companion that doesn't get her just bike destroyed by Pikachu. So that was very unique for her. Like, but she gets a Pokemon ball thrown at her head, but because Ash thought that she was a Pokemon because of her hair. But I I really enjoyed Iris and how she was able to be one with nature as well. Like, I just thought that she was really unique, and she's probably my favorite female companion. And I really loved Silent as well. He was also another favorite of mine. I actually in the video games, like I don't think he has enough personality because he was the first gym leader, but they gave him a personality in the anime. I really adored Silent in the anime. Like he's really passionate, he's gentlemanlike, he's a real expert in lots of different subjects and different topics, and he has lots of interests that just make him really excited and happy. And he's just a really good cook as well, and he's very polite, and he's not violent at all. And he's also just like really happy and just really polite and just really loves every second of life. He's almost like SpongeBob, like a much more gentlemanly version of SpongeBob. Like he's pretty much that's what I thought of him. Like a really like more gentleman like character of like the version of SpongeBob. He's a bit like that because he's always like passionate about life and different subjects and topics. And he's very kind as well, and he always helps like his friends. And he's actually really smart as well because he's a gym leader and he knows like battling tactics, and he doesn't win every single match. I mean, he is a gym leader, so you probably would expect him to win a lot more matches, but I like how it's like more realistic. Like you don't really expect like everyone to win everything all the time. So he wins matches and he loses matches and everybody does. So that's fine. And everybody wins and loses and no matter how good at they are at something. 'Cause I sometimes am not always good at the things that I love doing. So it's a bit relatable as well. So you can't really expect someone to win everything every time. So I don't really mind like his battle losers. I just really love how compassionate he is about being like a Pokemon connoisseur as well, like being a Pokemon expert and just being an expert about everything. And I just love his like design as well, like a waiter design because he loves cooking and he's just very gentlemanly and just very happy and very passionate about everything that he does. And I like Ash as well. I feel like Ash, I prefer like the newer Ash over like the older Ash. I'm not really a fan of Ash in like the earlier seasons. I feel like he's a bit too rough around the edges, like insulting people like for no reason. And honestly, I don't really like that kind of attitude. I mean, I know he's not meant to be perfect, but I'm not really a fan of like Ash in like the earlier seasons, but as it goes on, I start to like him a lot more. I feel like he's a bit more soothed out his rougher edges. I don't really like Ash like in the Alola region series. I feel like they sort of like turned him into more childish and a bit more annoying. And I'm not really a fan of like the new art design and the and like the Alola anime. I've definitely prefer him in like the um sort of like the Unova anime, like his the art style there, and also like the Kalos art style. And I honestly loved like his character in the Hoenn anime and the Diamond and Pearl anime, and also the Unova anime. I know they sort of like reverted him back to square one in the Unova anime, but I think they did it intentionally as a soft reboot, sort of like because apparently Pokemon Black and White was meant to be a soft reboot. But I really love Ash in like the Hoenn anime, the Diamond and Pearl anime, the Unova anime, and the Kalos anime. Those are probably my favorite moments with Ash. But I think after that, I mean, I still like him. It's just that I don't. I think he's like changed too much and too little. Like changed a bit, like sort of like he was soothed down, but then they turned him in a bit more childish in like the Alola anime. Like he was really mature in the Kalos anime. It's a bit like SpongeBob. Like his constant character was always changed depending on the season, so it's a bit like that. But I overall really like Ash. I really enjoy like his character, especially like in the Unova anime, well, the Kalos anime, because I love how he's always got like a strong connection with Pokemon, and especially Pikachu. Like it's more than just battling and wanting to win. He's really passionate and cares about Pokemon, his own Pokemon, and the Pokemon around him as well. And he's willing to like put himself at risk to help others as well. So that's what I really love about him. And I think he's just like a very iconic character, especially with his Pikachu. I really like Ash. And now I'm going to talk about N, one of my favorite characters ever. I'm going to be honest, when I heard of N, I remember like my sisters talking about N. I didn't really know much about the universe story at the time, and I was wondering who N is, and they kind of like didn't really say much about him at first. They said that he was this person that wanted to rescue Pokemon, but he also kept Pokemon away from people. I was like, oh, was he like keeping them captive away from other people or something? So I didn't know much about N's character at the time. But when I saw him in the anime and saw all the episodes that he was in, I was really excited about the character. I really loved N, and he was probably the reason why I loved the Pokemon Unova anime. But my one critique about N in the games is that despite him being against Pokemon battles, he does use Pokemon battles to stop Pokemon battles. It is a bit of a hypocrite. Um, he is a bit of a hypocrite in the video games. Like he wants to get rid of Pokemon battling each other because of humans, yet he's using Pokemon battles to battle each other. So that is a bit of a hypocrite move on N. I feel like the anime N actually has a better point, because at least he doesn't actually use the method he hates to get rid of Pokemon battling. So he actually just rescues Pokemon that are being mistreated by Team Plasma and other humans rather than using Pokemon to do the hard work for him. He does it himself. But the problem with the video game N is that he uses the method he hates to get rid of the method he hates, which isn't really a good look on anyone's part. I mean, I understand he releases his Pokemon afterwards, but it's still hypocrisy at the end of the day, so I can't really understand why he uses the method he hates to get rid of something, to get rid of the method he hates. So, but apart from that, I love N. I really love like him in the anime. I feel like him in the anime is like really good, and I really love him in Pokemon Masters. I really love like his interactions with Hilbert, Hilda, and Nate, and even Silver in one of the events. And also, and I just really like how N's like really philosophy like, and he always wants to do right by Pokemon, and he also wants to treat people great as well because he is a person himself. So he wants to treat others how he wants to treat like how he wants to be treated, and he wants to treat Pokemon and humans equally because he wants people and Pokemon to view each other as equals. And I really love his design as well. His design's really unique. It's simple but very unique, and it stands out really well. And my one critique in the anime version of N is that he didn't get enough screen time. He definitely deserved a lot more screen time in the anime. I really wanted him to have more screen time in the anime. He deserved more episodes. I was holding on to the hope that he would come back in Pokemon Journeys because they stated that every single character had a chance of coming back. And I really wanted N to come back, and he didn't. They just kind of forgot about him after he left. Like, they didn't even mention him on the episode after he left. They mentioned Team Plasma, but they didn't mention N. So it's like he was erased from existence. So I really didn't like that in the anime. I really wanted him to I wanted him to join them on the boats, like in the boat adventure, like where they go on these different cruise ships and have all these adventures. I would have loved that. That would have been really amazing. I just love N because I think he's like one of my favorite characters. He's one of the most interesting characters, and he does have like a really sad backstory about being kidnapped by Getsus and then forced under his ruling, and then he has to overcome his trauma from Getsis to become a better person and also save Unova. And also save Nate and Hilbert and Hilda as well. And Rosa. Well, depending on which character you played as. And I really do love like the interactions with Nate, Rosa, Hilbert, Hilda, and N. I honestly think they make a really good group. I think that there should be more focus on the Unova characters interacting with each other, but it is fun in Masters when they interact with different characters. So now I'm going to talk about Silver. I didn't know much about Silver before Pokemon Masters, to be honest, but seeing him in Pokemon Masters made me really like Silver a lot, and I love his deliberate development. Like, he is meant to be a not good person at the beginning of the game. Like, he's meant to be like really, really aggressive and really, really violent, and only care about like Pokemon that are basically powerful enough to win matches. But I feel like you kind of understand his point of view in a sort of way because he's more of like a survivalist rather than a compassionate thinker. He's like a survivalist thinker rather than compassion because his father Giovanni left him to fend for himself, so he probably had to go in survival mode. So that's probably why he is the way he is, because he was being abandoned by his father Giovanni. But Giovanni was not a good person to begin with because he basically like runs a company that tortures people and Pokemon for profit. So yeah, so that's probably another reason. He didn't have a lot of good influences in his family, so that's probably why. But after seeing like the outside world and being influenced by some positive influences, he starts to change for the better. And it also like gives you hope that people can change and grow. You might see someone that's absolutely, you might think that's absolutely really bad, but with like a bit of kindness and a bit of support and also a bit of tough love, you might be able to see them grow into better people. So that's so it kind of so his change and his story gives you hope that people can change and grow for the better, no matter what. So that's kind of what his story says. That he started off like in a really bad situation with his family and being abandoned, and then having this mindset that he has to have the strongest Pokemon in order to survive the world, and wanting to take down anyone he deems as weak. And then he wants to get better, and then he still hates like weak people and Pokemon, but I think he's more like hating cowardice. That's probably what he means. Like he hates people who like try and he basically doesn't like people who are all bark and no bite. I think that's kind of what he means, and he doesn't like having like also people ganging up on other people and using numbers to win a match. So that's so there's like a sense of honor in his battling. Like he won't think like a coward. He won't use cowardice to get his way. He wants to like do things the honest, hard-working way. So that's kind of like what Silver's like. He also has like this very grouchy attitude as well, but I think that's just Silver being Silver. So I think he is a good person, but he just needed some time and some actual care and positive influences to get there. And I'm also probably going to talk about Alder as well, because Alder was also in like the event where Gets tried to influence N to return to him, and N was a bit unsure what to do, so he needed help from Silver, Nate, the protagonist player, and Alder as well. And they all came together to support N for whatever decision he wanted to do. And Alder was there talking to him about like what family means and what being a human is truly like. So I really like Alder because he's very, and I just think he's like one of the best champions. I mean, being the best doesn't mean you have to win every single match or having the strongest Pokemon. I mean, Cynthia's really cool, but I think Alder for me is a bit more memorable because of what he's like. He's like a champion doesn't have to be about winning every single match every single time, and also being stuck in a room waiting for challenges. Being a champion is about being a positive influence to other trainers, and also teaching them great lessons that can help them be a better trainer and be a better person. So that's what Alder's like. I feel like most champions are more about strategy and good battling, but they don't really talk much about how it's what it's like to be a person and be a role model. They're just more like be strong, be strategic in battle. They mainly talk about, I know Cynthia's like works with archaeology, like she's interested in history, but I think Alda is like more interested in human philosophy and ethics, because I think that makes him really interesting. So because I honestly think that Alda is probably one of my personal favorite Pokemon champions. I love his design, and I love how fatherly he's like. He's like a father figure to like everyone, not just like specific characters. He's like really fatherly to everyone, and he also talks about how tight matchups don't always like determine what a match will outcome, like the outcome of a match. Sometimes you can overcome like disadvantages in Pokemon types by just pushing through and keep going. And that's what he's like. So those are my favorite characters. Let's talk about the Pokemon. So I'm going to talk about the evolutions now. So I love all the evolutions because I think they're all unique and really beautiful, and they all have their own personality, and they all have their own design. I think my favorite evolution is definitely Sylveon. I love fairies. I love like fairy types, and I just love fairies. When I was little, I always wanted to be a fairy. Like, I always dreamed about magically transforming into a fairy like the Winx Club could. Like, I would still transform back into a human, but I could have the power to transform into a fairy. I always loved that, so I love the fairy type. And I love this Sylveon because it was a present from one of my sisters. And I named her Sylvia, the Sylveon, because the name Sylvia is a lot like Sylveon. Um, and I honestly just love the fairy type. I never really owned a Sylveon because I only had one Pokemon game, and that was Pokemon White. So I never had the privilege to raise a Sylveon, but at least I've got like a teddy of her. And I my favorite evolution before Sylveon existed was Vaporeon, because I remember even when I was little, I loved mermaids and I loved the water and dreaming that I could be a mermaid or swim in the water like how the Winx Club could in season 5, like how their magical fairy powers could allow them to swim in the ocean. So I always loved that idea. So that's one of the reasons why I loved Vaporeon. But honestly, Sylveon for me is my number one. But who's your favourite evolution? And and also, what would you call your evolution as well? And so I don't actually have a least favourite at all. I think they're all amazing. They're all equally awesome and cool in their own way. I like Espeon. Espeon's like really pretty, and apparently they have like connection to the sun, and they're really compassionate and strong trainers. Umbreon is really cool as well, and apparently they evolve through friendship. But they can be a bit scary because apparently they have like toxic sweat that they can spit at anything and anyone, so that's a bit scary. And I feel like the original trio, like Jolteon and Flareon, I think they're pretty cool, but then I don't really I never really think about them that much, but I still think they're pretty cool. And and the rest of the evolutions are just all awesome. I just like the evolutions. I feel like they should make more evolutions. Why aren't they making more? A dragon type Eevee, or a flying type Eevee, or a ghost type Eevee, or a poison type Eevee, or a steel type, rock type, ground type. They need, or a bug type. They need to make more Eevees. The evolutions. Everybody loves them, and there should be one of every type. That'd be amazing. I mean, they got one for the fairy type. Like Sylveon's like the last of the evolutions that exists. They haven't made any new ones yet, so they really should go and make more. Come on, we need to make more. We need to make one of every single type. That would be so amazing. So now we're going to talk about the starters, but I'm going to talk about like which one I would choose in each generation. Which ones would you choose? But I'm going to go through all the ones I would choose. So for the Kanto, I'm going to pick. I think I'm going to pick Squirtle. I like Squirtle. And I don't know, I just remember always loving Squirtle and always wanting one. So I'm going to choose Squirtle. For the Johto, I'm going to pick Chikorita because I think she's really pretty. I feel like I love the Chikoritas. I just think they're so cute and pretty. I'm not sure about Totodile. I think I'd be too. I'm scared of crocodiles, so I'm not really a fan of like. I used to be a little bit of a fan of Totodile, but I think I'm a bit too scared of crocodiles to probably be able to own one. But I'm not scared of like Leatherhead from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. He's awesome and he's so gentle and kind. But crocodiles do scare me a little bit. So and Cyndaquil, I'm neutral around Cyndaquil, but I think Chikorita is probably my personal favorite of the group. And apparently, it also gives off aromas that can make someone feel calm, relaxed, and energized. And it's also very kind and compassionate as well. So I'm going to choose Chikorita. Well, for Hoenn, I think it's going to have to be Mudkip. Mudkip is just a cute little fella. And look at him. And also, I've got a teddy of one, so I think that kind of automatically makes me choose Mudkip. um, for Sinnoh, I'm going to choose Piplup. I really love Piplup, and I also remember having a toy of a Piplup once, like a little like one of these little figurine Piplups in like a Pokeball, and it had like a little chain, so you could hold the chain by your hand, and then think fly it around in the Pokeball. So I'm gonna choose Piplup, and I just love Piplup's design as well. And Piplup in the anime was very cute, even though he was a bit cheeky and a bit naughty at times. But I still love Piplup. Although Piplup are very prideful, so it might be a bit difficult for me to like try and um handle like the personality. But I'm probably gonna try my best. And he is very cute. And for Unova, well, I'm gonna have to choose Tepig because Tepig is actually the first ever starter that I've ever chosen in one of the Pokemon video games. Because Pokemon White is the only video game I've ever played through properly. When I was little, I always just used to play like the Hoenn ones, but they were ones that my siblings already completed. So I just basically wander around place to place looking at Pokemon to catch ones that I love. So but Pokemon White was the first game I ever chose, and I chose Tepig to be my starter. I love Tepig. I love his evolutions as well. I'm not really all that fussy about the designs, to be honest, and I just love Tepig. He's just a little cutie, and also got a teddy, so that also thingies up the points of like which one I would choose. Oh, for Carlos, oh, that's a tricky one because I like all three of them. They're all really nice, but I'm gonna have to choose Froakie the Frog Pokemon. I don't know, just something about Froakie's just really lovely. I just love Froakie. Um, I think he's like really cool. The anime made him really amazing as well. Like his special unique bond with Ash was really lovely. And I loved how like they had such a strong connection with each other. So I'm gonna choose Froakie. Um for Alola, definitely Poplio, like the little seal, because it's a mermaid and I love the mermaid ones. And I think it's just really I think Poplio is like really cute. I think he's like the cutest one of the group. And also like it's just really and when it evolves into I can't remember the final evolution form, the name of it. No, I can't remember, but I think like the mermaid like style is really gorgeous. So I'm gonna choose Poplio. Now for Gala, okay, I'm not that familiar with the names. That's tricky. Because I'm not too familiar with like the Gala starters. Um, I think I'm gonna choose like the little lizard one, the blue lizard. I think like him crying a lot is like so cute, but also very sad. So I'll probably give him lots of cuddles. But he grows up and evolves into like this James Bond kind of looking lizard. So I think I'm gonna choose that one. I think I'm gonna choose like I'm sorry, I can't remember the name because I'm not really all that familiar with like the newer ones. Because I mainly like know about up to Carlos for the most part. And for Scarlet and Violet, I really don't know much about the starters there, but um, no, I don't really know much about them. I think I'm gonna choose like the fire type one because that's the one that's sticking out to me the most. I remember that one the most, so I'll pick the fire one because it's not that I don't like them; it's just I'm not that familiar with them. Because I feel like I just mainly loved too much. I loved the Unova story too much to want to go into like the other Pokemon stories. So I'm gonna pick the fire one, but I'm just not really all that familiar with like the newer starters. Well, that wraps up my Pokemon talk. I hope you all enjoyed the video, and I hope you enjoyed my little guest stars here, Sylvia, Ember, and Muddy. So, what do you think about Pokemon? Did you really love do you agree with what my personal picks of the starters? Did you agree with my what I thought about the characters? And which evolution would you choose? And which starter would you choose? Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video and I'll see you all in the next video. Hopefully I might do another Pokemon talk one day, but I'm not sure. But for now, have a good day everybody and I'll see you all in the next video. Goodbye for now.